Well, hello there, out there, everywhere. This is Chris, otherwise known as C, on all of the Facebook posts. I am going to be one of your main hosts through a series of podcasts. We're going to talk about a wide variety of things, and this is all from the Mighty Monkey and presenting the Flower City Comic-Con. With me today is a couple of my fellow board members. I got Tanya Metris, our VIP liaison. We have Deanna Schulmerich on the phone line. And she is our media and PR. Our box office goddess, Sybil Corbin, is with us at this time. Local radio legend, Billy DeTore.
Where? Who? Me?
Who? You. Yeah, you. And one of our brand new interns, he's going to help me out with panels and a whole lot of things. Tony Bacchetta.
Hi, guys.
Is here. And so the six of us are going to chat a little bit about Flower City Comic-Con. Deanna, say hi to the crowd.
Hey, everybody. How you doing?
And I got Tanya. Come on, Tanya.
Good morning.
Morning, Billy.
Hi.
Tony.
Hi, guys.
And Sybil.
Hi.
We're spread out across the countryside at this point, as far away as Sybil is actually. Where? You're in Pittsburgh?
I am in Pittsburgh.
You're in Pittsburgh.
Lucky her.
Yeah, see, Deanna is going to be jealous of Sybil because Deanna's a big Pittsburgh fan.
I get to revel in all of the Pittsburghiness that there is around here.
And that's the home of Steel City Con, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
And how many shows a year do they do?
They do 3 a year.
Oh, my gosh. Three conventions a year. I know the effort we put into putting the 2016 Flower City Comic-Con on. I know how much effort it took us to do that. I can't imagine doing 3 shows a year. That's just amazing.
I'm still trying to catch up on my sleep from
April?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing, too. You know, we spent like 15, 16 months putting together the 2016 Flower City Comic-Con together. It was happened in a blink of an eye, and suddenly it's like we're already in September. How did that happen?
I don't know.
Sleep is overrated.
Sleep is over. Sleep is
No, it's not.
No, it is.
No, it's great.
It's
Sleep
really
is
not.
great.
Sleep is a wonderful thing. And
This is coming from a guy who gets up at 4 a.m.
Yeah,
or
seriously.
earlier.
Yuck.
I couldn't imagine having the schedule that you and guys do.
And just so you know, this coming week, our regular producer on the Brother Weeze show where I work, he's getting married, so he's got most of the week off. So I have to come in when he's normally here, which would be, I have to be here by 3.
Oh, my Lord.
Oh, wow.
Oh, my Lord.
So that's going to be fun.
Well, best wishes to Paulie, though. I know that
Yeah.
we've been talking about that on the air for a long time.
Yeah,
We've been hearing
yeah.
him talk about him
So
and
he's
Ryan.
getting married Friday at about 2:30 in the afternoon, and so I'm going to be getting up about 2:30. Then I'm going to be doing some work. Then I'm going to the wedding and the reception. And So I won't sleep for about 24 hours coming this
man.
Friday. So
Wow.
think of me.
I think we've all
Back
been
to
there.
being overrated.
Yeah.
Mazel tov.
There you go. Tanya and I are parents, so we know what sleepless nights are like. So what we wanted to do is we wanted to start a podcast series and start bringing a little bit more information to each other. You know, sometimes there's going to be ways to inform ourselves and to share with you, the listener, what we're up to and how we're planning on doing things. Having our Facebook and our website and all that stuff is great, but sometimes the personal touch of reaching out and offering some information is just it's a nice little wonderful touch there. We're looking forward to sharing a lot of good times with you guys. In essence, what we're going to do is kind of a weekly thing. So once a week, we'll have a podcast. We'll release it. It'll have current events. It'll have some things we're doing with the show. We're going to talk about announcements, guests, panels, things, how we're handling things. And this is the important part. To those who are listening to us, if you have questions, if you think, hey, I'm wondering what the guys at FC3 are doing about this type of a topic. Hey, it's Star Trek's 50th anniversary. Hey, next year is Star Wars 40th anniversary. Hey, do you have any information on Doctor Who? Things like that. So these, you will give you avenues to pose those questions to us, either through our Facebook, through our website, through our individual emails. Feel free to reach out to us and contact us. One of the early slogans that we used for the show was for fans by fans. And it's not just a cliche. It's really kind of the philosophy of how we want to do things because we all have careers. We're not just professional conventioneers. We're not doing this to try and profit from it. We're doing this because it's fun. And to see the looks on people's faces when they see something they've never thought they would ever see, it's a wonderful experience to be able to share that with folks. So we're building the show for you. And because of that, we're going to want your input. So at any time you have a question, you reach out, you let us know. Now, with that being said, Tanya, why don't you... See, you have to understand, Tanya is not comfortable with this sort of thing. So we're taking
Absolutely
Tanya out of
not.
her comfort zone, and we're going to help her evolve as a human being.
So we're all going to start podcasting naked.
That's awesome. That's awesome because that's like the first thing everybody wants to see is me naked. Yeah, that's not a good. No, that's not happening. No.
Thanks for the suggestion. Yeah, no, that's not happening.
Well, I already am, so.
Well, see, we weren't going to say
behind
anything,
closed
Billy.
doors.
We weren't. Yeah, he's in a different studio.
Out.
Fortunately, you guys on the phone, you don't have to actually visualize this.
Yeah,
What is going on over there?
I don't know. I'm hearing some
Are you
static.
building a house?
Is there somebody?
Not doing anything.
I blame Sybil.
Yeah, you can.
It's okay.
Someone's cleaning or doing something in the background.
That's all right. Like I said, we're not professional radio here. Yeah, we're here lovely at the studios of WFC3. I've been wanting to say that for like an hour.
The basement of the science building.
There you go. The basement in the dark corner where they had a few minutes of or a few feet of spare space to put us. All right, so let's talk a little bit about what we're going to do from here. We had the 2016 show this past April, and we felt it was a very successful show in regards that it was well regarded. Everybody who went seemed to have a really good time. Everybody who was there, that participated, the vendors seemed to be very pleased with the setup.
The special guests all seem to be happy
special
with
guests
the treatment.
I'm gonna have to give Tanya a little bit of some love here at the moment because we can say something that not many people can. We've introduced Power Rangers to garbage plates.
Absolutely. They
Yes,
thought they
we
were.
did, and it was amazing to just see their faces when they saw the size of what we brought them.
Oh, I know, it was amazing. Sybil, did you get in on that at all? Did you see any of that?
No, I was kind of stuck up front during that.
Oh, I know. Oh my God, I'm sorry about that. We're going to work on that. But yeah, to have Walter Jones, who played Zach, the original Black Ranger, he was so enamored with it that he actually was taking selfies with his garbage plate.
I think he Instagrammed it.
He did.
think
He
he
did
did,
Instagram
too.
that. Yes.
That is fantastic.
And Gigi Edgley from Farscape, who is this petite little blonde thing, and then she just sees this massive thing in front of her, going, "Oh yeah, this is going to be a good afternoon."
Her eyes became soft.
And it's funny, a couple days before that happening at the convention or during a break from their signings, Susan and I had artist Ken Lashley in town for a day or two previously to show him and his daughters around town. And naturally, Nick Tahoe's was one of the stops. And
There you go.
They were also amazed by the garbage plate. And Ken kept wanting, what happens if you put I like the white hot dogs with the home fries and the beans.
Oh, see, he was just mixing and matching.
He was trying, okay, let me try some of yours because I had cheeseburgers with, home fries and beans. And Susan had hot dogs with, so he was just trying them all. And the daughters were a little chagrined by it, but they ate like champs.
Oh yeah, they did. That was great.
They were just like me. Food can't touch.
Food can't touch. But that was one of the wonderful things about the show. One of the side things that you didn't expect is just how many people started appreciating things that Rochester had to offer as a city. Because you live here for, in my case, 46 years, and you get these folks who are like, well, there's really nothing to do in Rochester, and that's so wrong. I mean, Dee, you were bringing stuff to our attention like every day.
And I think Jim Cummings was really impressed with Dinosaur too.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
Jim.
we took Ken to the dinosaur too.
Where did you not take him?
Now, we took him to the Strong Museum of Play.
There you go.
We took him to the Auditorium Theater to see Stomp, the Broadway show.
Oh, see, we
So
know how to
he-
put on a good time,
yeah.
I suppose. And and that was just it was just a wonderful thing to be able to share this with so many different people. Now where to go take the conversation from here? I mean, we can talk about food and
Absolutely.
and guests. Now how are we
I don't
going to?
think Billy's had lunch yet.
Billy hasn't had lunch yet.
Nope.
I think the one thing I remember was we're always talking about a great experience for our guests. And I didn't see it personally, but it was relayed to me that when one of the guests met, I believe it was Zach, Power Ranger.
Right, Walter Jones.
She got the vapor. She flipped out like she had the opportunity to meet somebody she grew up watching and admiring. And I thought, that we did it. We, even if it's just one person, we made that dream for a reality for somebody.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the little moments. It's the little
Right.
moments. My mom, who, bless her soul, I would tell her that, we're working on making this comic book convention. She goes, "Oh, isn't that nice, dear?" And that would be the kind of attitude that I would get. But then she actually came to the show on Saturday, and she's walking around and looking at it, taking it all in and going, "Oh my God, Christopher, did you do that?" "Well, I had a lot of help, Mom. It wasn't just a solo effort. I didn't do it on my own." But then I got her to introduce to Jim Cummings, the legendary voice actor, and she says, "I don't mean to, you probably hear this all the time, but could you do a little voice for me?" And without even flinching, he leans in and he rubs shoulders with her real quick and drops right into Winnie the Pooh. And does this whole, "Oh, it's so wonderful to meet you, Mary Lou." There's no way I can do it justice. But just to see the look on my mom's face as she hears this character, who's not only from our childhoods, but from her own. And these characters are that venerable, and to be able to match those two moments together and see the reaction.
And being able to supply stuff like that is huge.
That's just awesome.
Because, as nerds, we go to other conventions. And I went to a Niagara Falls Comic-Con this past year.
How was that? I heard a lot of good things about
fantastic.
it. I heard they did a great job.
I had a great time. And what you just said about your mother meeting Jim Cummings doing the Winnie the Pooh voice, they had Carol Spinney there. Who was
the Big Bird.
Big Bird,
the original
and,
Big Bird.
and Oscar the Grouch. And
Oh,
at one
that's
point,
fantastic.
When he went into the Big Bird voice, it was like the whole crowd just went, "Oh."
It's the national childhood.
Yeah.
It really is. When you can bring those it's the national childhood.
So what's your mom going to do this year when we bring Richard Hatch in?
Oh, I think she's going to faint. I really do, because I mentioned Richard Hatch, and now you and I, as nerds, we think Battlestar Galactica.
Yep.
We think Captain Apollo and Tom Zarek from the reboot from earlier this century. She remembers him from his soap opera career.
All My Children.
All My
Dynasty,
Children, yeah. So,
whatever
So
you remember him
paramedics
from.
on staff.
Paramedics should be on staff, yeah, because I think there's going to be some swooning going on. I'm pretty sure of it. We also have, for the 2017 show, a voice actress named Trina Nishimura, who one of her big roles that she's known for is Attack on Titan, playing the apparently legendary Mikasa.
Oh, yeah.
Tony, are you familiar with that at all?
Vaguely, yes.
Vaguely. You and me both. I mean, I know. See, that's my personal downfall, is I don't watch a ton of anime. What I watch, I tend to enjoy, but
yeah. I grew up watching. Do you remember a show called Star Blazers?
oh yeah.
I loved it. I didn't know at that point, because I was just a kid, that it was this Jap. I just thought it was kind of like this weird looking cartoon. I didn't understand.
And that, I think that's why I got into it, because
Yeah.
it's so different from what we were used to. I mean, we were used to Hanna-Barbera and Scooby Doo and those kind of cartoons, the regular Saturday morning stuff. To see Star Blazers, which was an adaptation of the Japanese anime Space Battleship Yamato, to see that really kind of redefined how you look at the Saturday morning cartoon. I think it was like 9 or 10 when I first saw it, and that was more than a half a lifetime ago. But it really made a huge impression. And in future podcasts, I want to spend some time. I think we're going to just kind of concentrate one episode in particular, just talking about anime and how it's evolved and where it's going and where we think it's going. And we'll bring some other friends of the gang in. Folks
I'll
who
have
are,
to make sure I watch Attack on Titan by then.
yeah, I think we're gonna have to sit down and we'll do an Attack on Titan marathon.
Oh, yeah.
I know. Kelsey and Emily would really kind of push me to do that.
I
So.
also need a Battlestar Galactica marathon.
Well, you know what? The original series, that won't be hard, because the original series only lasted really a season. Then they had that second season of Galactica 1980, which was, I'm sorry to say, it was kind of silly.
Yeah, I think we either have it on DVD, and I know
Dan's
seen
got
on
it
Hulu.
because Dan's been a big Battlestar Galactica fan for a long time. But then, to watch the rebooted, the 2005 series, that was, what was it, 4 or 5 seasons? Does anybody remember?
I think it was 6.
I think
I actually have it on DVD,
Yeah?
and I haven't watched it.
wow. It was I think it was
Definitely
really well done
marathon
story.
watching.
A friend gave it to me, and I go, I gotta look. I hear it's such great things about
Mm-hmm.
it. But I remember the 1979, 1980.
Oh, yeah.
I do too.
And I just go, well, how can you top this or make it different? And there's so much good TV out nowadays.
Oh, yeah.
It's wonderful that we have these new paradigms with like Hulu and Netflix. Exactly.
Yeah, that's
And-
where I saw Battlestar Galactica, both the new one and the old one.
See?
Yeah.
That's the way to play it, I'm telling you. And then for an old school Whovian such as myself to be able to watch Doctor Who at the drop of a hat, on these different platforms, it's very happy to me, because especially because you got all the new folks who came on board with the rebooted series. And then I'll make a reference to the classic series from the 60s, 70s, 80s, and they'll kind of stare at me for a second. I'm like, just, you have access to it. Go watch this.
Now, just
I
from
think it's off.
It's on Amazon.
It's on Amazon Prime now, I
Oh.
think.
Yeah. But not the old ones. I've been catching some of the old ones, the classics, on PBS.
Yes.
On Saturday nights, or rerunning some of the Tom Baker stuff.
And that's my favorite memory as a kid. Is that was my growing up. I mean, I was 10, 11, 12 years old, and Saturday nights, 11 o'clock on Channel 21, and my parents would let me stay up at night to watch that.
See, I'm so old.
Yeah, I know.
I used to watch it on Channel 21 at 6 o'clock at night in the early 70s.
Billy.
But I didn't understand what was going on at the time. My brother was a fan, my older brother. Mm-hmm. And I was 8, 9, 10, somewhere around there. So I wasn't catching everything. Yeah, let me see if I can. Someone's building a house over
Somebody's
there.
building a house.
So I'm
blaming the girls.
It's funny. I've noticed we all have our own little niches.
Yes, we do.
In geekdom. Now, like, I love sci-fi TV and movies, but I really like comic books and superheroes. If I had to nail what's your favorite part, that's mine.
That's awesome.
Whereas, Chris, you're Doctor Who
Right.
sci-fi guy.
Mm-hmm.
Tanya,
I don't think I can pick just one.
what's your favorite area of nerddom?
Well, Ty, you're an avid gamer. You
I am
tabletop.
a gamer, role play, but
Yeah.
I'd have to go Star Wars.
Star Wars, okay.
Absolutely.
See, that's awesome. Tony?
Tony?
I'm definitely a Star Wars guy. I also game. Definitely love comic books. I could probably have a good 2-hour conversation with you, Bill.
Oh, I'd love
Just
that.
2 hours?
We're going to make that happen. Sybil, how about you? What's your favorite part of nerddom, my sweet?
Oh, I don't know if I have a favorite. I mean, comic books are always near and dear to me because it's how I learned how to read, was my dad giving me comic books.
Nice.
But then again, I'm a huge Doctor Who fan. I mean, Chris, you saw my newest tattoo.
I did.
I have a TARDIS, I have the Hitchhiker's thumb on there, and I have the Star Trek
The Delta.
communicators, the
Yep.
Delta on there. So I'm a little bit of everything. I'm a huge nerd, just mesh of everything.
How about you, Dee?
It's Star Wars.
She says it so.
hesitation
There was no
whatsoever.
hesitation. So, doom. It's Star Wars. Period.
That was one of the first childhood memories that I still have, was begging my uncle to take me to see Star Wars in the movie theater, and I was just blown away.
I think of the 6 of us who are on the panel today, 3 of us were alive when the original Star Wars was released in 1977.
Yep. Me.
Yeah.
Yeah, Deanna, me, and Billy, and my dad was so patient. I have to. Oh no, you were there too. I'm sorry, 72. Hey, you should be grateful that I was actually saying you were younger.
Yeah, no kidding.
Just say thank you, Chris.
Thank you, Chris.
There you go. Now you can scold me later. All right, but yeah, my dad, as I was saying, he was such a patient creature, because here's this. I was 6 when 1977 kicked in. My birthday's in September, and he took me to see Star Wars, and I made him take me another 10, I think, a good dozen times before it left the theaters. And he humored this poor little kid. I mean, but Dad, let's go see Star Wars. Okay, he and I would talk about that all the time.
Use the Force, Chris.
Use the
And
Force.
I think about, Star Wars and Star Trek and all of these franchises, Indiana Jones, Doctor Who. They're great, but another fantastic part of them is the music that goes with them.
Oh, absolutely.
And I
Oh,
think
yeah.
we could actually do a podcast on that in the future.
I do plan on doing that.
Oh, yeah.
Just how significant not only the story is, but the music that goes along with it. I mean, you hear John Williams' Star Wars theme, for me, I get chills. I
Oh,
get
yeah.
chills
To
every
this day.
time I hear it.
Is one of the most recognizable pieces of music in the modern age.
Can I
yeah,
tell
absolutely,
you,
Tony.
Riker could recognize it at age 3. He knew the difference between Indiana Jones and
In Star Wars.
Darth Vader's.
There it is.
The Imperial
Billy, you are the
March.
man.
And I'm going to turn it down before I get sued. Under 7 seconds, there's no problem there.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. No, that fanfare, that's the thing. You hear those first couple of notes.
You're like
and
looking around. Where?
It's like you know exactly what's happening.
And in your mind, you see that scroll going up the 100-foot
Yes.
screen in the movie theater.
I don't know where it was, but I saw a picture on Facebook recently where somebody had painted the original A New Hope scroll onto the forward panels, the risers of an escalator.
Oh, wow.
I did
So
see
as
that.
the escalator rolls around, and all of a sudden you see Episode 4, A New Hope, and it just kind of goes as the escalator is going up, the crawl's going with it.
That's fabulous.
I'm laughing in the middle of my office at work. I'm laughing my butt off because of how amazingly imaginative that is. So here we are, and the listener right now will be getting a very good idea of what to deal with this particular podcast crew, because I had a place where I wanted to take the conversation.
And we totally
And we
tangent.
left turned it to Albuquerque and off and running. Here we go. And that's cool. That's going to be part of the fun of it, where we're going to have these conversations, and we don't even know where they're honestly going to go. But we're going to try and share and have some fun. And every so often we might reel it back in. And the fact that I'm the voice of reason and trying to keep things focused, the amount of laughter should tell people where that joke is going. You know?
And I knew you way back when.
Oh, I know. Deanna and I went to high school together at the hallowed halls of the Aquinas Institute.
Oh, the stories she could tell.
Oh, yeah, no, and she won't, because my bribe money is still coming in.
She could tell, so we're just both going to keep
Yeah, I know.
quiet.
We got détente. It's mutual
I'm glad
assured
Dan's
destruction.
not here.
Oh, I know. If Dan was here, he'd be yelling at the both of us right now.
Yep.
But Billy, you've always been local?
Yeah,
You're
I grew up in the 19th Ward.
Look at that. Nice.
Off of Thurston Road, a street called Lehigh Avenue.
Oh, I know that. I know it. I used to.
Where it is.
Was the 19th Ward part of where you
Yep,
were?
I work for the city of Rochester, and that was one of my jurisdictions for a little bit. I'm not a police officer. They don't trust me with that kind of authority. But yeah, I did work the 19th Ward for a little while, and I'm up on the Josana neighborhood, right around the soccer stadium now.
What neighborhood?
They call it the Josana neighborhood. See, that's the thing. The neighborhoods in the city of Rochester, and here's another tangent, they all have their own nicknames from where they grew up, basically. The neighborhoods themselves grew up at the turn of the century. When I say the turn of the century, I mean from the 1800s to the 1900s. And there's a lot of rich history in all of them. I grew up in the Maplewood area right around Aquinas, and that's where I live now. And there's Josana, there's the South Wedge, there's Swilberg and
10th Ward, 19th Ward.
Exactly, all the wards and whatnot. It's just there's a lot of rich history in this city. And we hope to kind of bring a little bit of that to the convention as well.
Absolutely.
And I think that's why we chose the venue we did, is because all of us, not all of us, but most of us born and bred here, we want to keep things in the city, in Rochester, not go out to the suburbs.
Yeah, definitely not my definition of the city, because I grew up in Lima, so my definition of the city is Henrietta.
And
you have to bring
you're
it
from
down a
Henrietta
little
too,
further.
right,
Yes, I
Tony?
am. Yeah.
And Sybil, you were born and raised.
I was born and raised in the 19th Ward, over by on Weldon Street.
Okay. See, so you and Billy were neighbors at one point or another in the timeline. And and that brings me to one of the favorite questions. When I was being interviewed during the day one of FC3, there's this wonderful reporter from the DNC, Sarah Taddeo. She did a wonderful job getting us all squared away online. But she asked me, well, why Rochester? And I looked at her, I'm like, what do you mean? She goes, well, why would you bring a show like this to Rochester? And I'm like, this is home.
Yeah, you're not bringing it.
Yeah,
It's
we're not
just-
bringing it. This is
here.
home. Where else would we do it? I mean, this is a great city. This is a city that has the Lilac Festival and the Clothesline Arts Festival and the legendary Park Ave Fest and Cobb's Hill.
It's just
Cornhill
full of
Fest.
arts and
Exactly. Why would you not do something like this?
a lot
at
of
home?
great culture. We just
Bingo.
As we're recording this, the Fringe Festival just ended.
Yes.
Yesterday.
Oh, what a show that was!
What about the Jazz Festival?
Jazz-
Jazz
we get
Festival.
We could go.
Grammy and award-winning artists for 10 days in the summer.
We
And
could
it's just music.
we could devote an entire podcast just talking about the various festivals and parties that Rochester throws on a regular
and
basis.
to bring it to
yes.
bring it back to a nerd thing as part of the Fringe Festival, I saw Patton Oswalt here
see?
last week, and he's a part of the nerd culture. Great comedian,
Yeah.
great actor, but in his routines, he mentions not being disappointed in Superman v. Batman
See?
and Suicide Squad, and he's a nerd.
He is,
and
he's
a
funny
big
as hell.
movie. Yeah, he's great.
He
So-
is funny as all hell. I mean, we were watching an HBO special of his at home, and my son, who's decided he has discovered comedy and loves comedy. He's 13, but he appreciates a good laugh. He watched that Patton Oswalt special with me, and he was just crying. He was laughing so hard. It's funny how he can, Patton's good at hitting those strings. He can hit a chord with just about anybody because he has that flexibility.
And he's also a voice on one of my current obsessions. Speaking of all the platforms for TV, have you guys watched BoJack Horseman?
I've heard of it, but no, I haven't
Oh
watched
my
it myself.
God, it's
I
so
saw the
funny.
first
I think I've
two
seen it on
episodes.
Netflix.
It's so smart and so funny. It's a cartoon show where people and animals sort of live together. It's anamorphic, is that the word?
Anthropomorphic or something
with,
like that?
Animals with human qualities.
Oh, I know. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
And,
Yeah.
No, sort of like Wicked, I guess. But it's never acknowledged that that it's different. It's just part of life. And Bojack was a horse that starred in a sitcom in the 90s called Horsing Around, and he's a washed-up 90s celebrity.
That's
and it's
funny.
just a scathing commentary on Hollywood nowadays. And it's hilarious. I highly recommend it. And Patton Oswalt, just to bring it back, is the voice of the president of Penguin Publishing, who is, of course, a penguin.
Okay. Because penguins are cool.
Yeah.
Yes,
Penguins
they
are awesome. Penguins are my spirit animal.
I thought those were Juliana's spirit animal.
No, Juliana's a panda fan.
Panda bear.
Yes. Juliana, for the listening crowd, is my other child, my teenage daughter, who right now, if she's hearing this, is shouting like, Dad, no, stop talking about me, please. It's embarrassing.
So let's continue.
So let's continue. No, well, that's a podcast in and of itself. But now, how are we doing on time, Billy?
We are currently at 26 minutes.
26 minutes. That's a beautiful thing. We're gonna these podcasts are not gonna be set, but we're gonna try and keep them to about a half an hour at a time, just for the sake of going forward, keeping them nice, neat packages, and so that you always know what to expect, the listener. But just real quick, this is the kind of thing you're going to get to expect from us. You're going to have these conversations. We're always going to have some sort of insight. We're going to have, and as Billy pointed out, we all have our own little niche. Dan's the big Battlestar fan, but loves his Star Wars, loves his Disney, loves his Star Trek. Deanna is a big Star Wars fan, but is also well-versed in a lot of things. Tanya brings the gamer culture in a little bit, but not the console, Xbox
there's
game.
too many buttons on a PS4
Okay.
and an Xbox One and stuff. Give me back my Nintendo.
Yeah, there you go.
Exactly.
There
There's
you go.
two buttons, A and B,
And
directional pad.
we're probably going to have some long and lengthy discussions about Dungeons and Dragons and Pathfinder and
Probably.
and all those different systems in there. And Tony's going to have his insights that he's going to be happy to bring in.
Can't wait to talk to Tanya about my opinion of PC gaming.
Oh, here we go. There's a little war coming there.
Hey, Chris, what is Brian's?
Wrestling.
Brian's is
Oh, I
wrestling.
love wrestling, too.
And he's a big Doctor Who fan. When he and I met in our freshman year of Aquinas many, many lifetimes ago, we recognized each other for kindred spirits because I had a Doctor Who pin on my backpack. And this was when it was uncool to be a Doctor Who fan, back in the 1980s when the classic series was still going on. And so we'll be able to bring a little bit of everything. And we're also going to be reaching out. I've talked to a couple friends of mine who either work for or run comic book shops. So we're going to be bringing guests in every so often to talk about the industry a little bit. We have local folks all across the board. And we'll be touching on, in future podcasts, the local art culture as well. Our art director is Judah Nevedomsky, and he put together a really nice display at FC3 back in April. And we've got a lot of friends and people that work with him in galleries and whatnot. So we're going to have discussions about local art, local artists, and we're going to be doing a lot. We're going to be talking about a lot of different things, and we want your input. That's the most important thing, is your input, because we can sit here and talk to each other all day long. We're good at it. We do it all the time. But if there's something you want to hear us talk about, let us know. So you just drop us a private message on Facebook. You can send a message to us through our website, or you can email me directly. For instance, I'm happy to put myself forward, and that's Chris@fc3roc.com, fc3rock.com. And so I'll be happy to hear from you and answer your questions and maybe take your topic and put it out on a podcast. So we want to hear from you.
Or Billy@Weeze.com.
Billy@Weeze.com. See, these easy email addresses are wonderful to remember. And Billy, we appreciate the way that you host us at the studios of WFC3.
No problem.
Hint, hint, wink, wink. And so we're looking forward to having these conversations with you folks. And this is just the first of many. So thank you yet again. We're going to have to work on closing music. But
I like this.
You like this?
I do.
I like it.
I think it's appropriate for our goofy asses.
We just, you're probably.
Can you say that?
You're probably.
Yes.
Yeah, this is not broadcast radio. We can say that. Anyway, that's that. And thank you for listening.
Have a nice day.
Have a good day, guys.
Bye.
Bye-bye.